Edwards is there too. Okay, welcome everyone. I will call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Canos?
Here.
Mr. Ambelang?
Here.
Ms. Greenfield?
Here.
Ms. McCready?
Here.
Mr. McQueen?
Here.
Mr. Ribeiro is absent. Ms. Zamara?
Here.
Notice of this meeting was provided to the Bernardsville News, Courier News, and Star Ledger, filed with the municipal clerk, and posted on the municipal bulletin board on December 27th, 2021. Get my flag. And if you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. We do have a presentation tonight. I'm very excited to introduce Chris Edwards, who is the, I guess, executive director, yes, of the Somerset County Business Partnership. He came out to our mixer last week, which was a big success, and we were thrilled to have him. We got to meet some of our local businesses. And is this your third year as?
Second year.
Second year. Right. Yep. In time for COVID, right?
Right. Literally the day the world ended.
Yeah. And we have been members for how long? It's been a long time.
Since we were incorporated as the business partnership in 2003.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. So I thought, since there's a lot of new council people who haven't met Chris, because he's fairly new, I would have him come and talk about what the partnership does. So Chris, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. It's good to meet all of you, albeit virtually. I hope I get a chance to meet all of you in person over the next few years. I wanted to first start by thanking the Mayor for giving me some time tonight. Not only Bernardsville support in the past 2 decades, but also the Mayor, your time, and there's also been a number of council people in Bernardsville over the years who volunteered with the business partnership. And I think all of you know that are a part of businesses, business associations, volunteerism is just as important as the financial support. Especially the last few years where we've gone through a lot of changes. So just a little background for all of you tonight. And I'm going to update you on a few things that we're working on, and would love to get your feedback on what we should be working on as we go forward. My predecessor did a really good job of going out and meeting with the town council and mayor and all 21 municipalities every few years. So I hope I can make this, an annual or every other year occurrence to come and update you. And I'm happy to do that at any time. So just some background. The Somerset County Business Partnership was founded in 1919 as the Somerville Chamber of Commerce. I'm not going to bore you with a long history, but as the county grew, the chamber grew. And in 2002, 2003, there was a series of mergers, the County Office of Economic Development and several other economic development nonprofits with the Chamber of Commerce to form the Somerset County Business Partnership. It's very unique for the state of New Jersey, a Chamber of Commerce that also does economic development and tourism, but not unique if you go into the Midwest and the South. There's very similar organizations to the business partnership. So our job is, whether we're working with a Verizon or an AT&T or a Pfizer, or we're working with a mom and pop shop in Bernardsville or Somerville, our job at the end of the day is always the same. It's to help give our businesses the tools they need to succeed. Now, obviously, the big difference is every business requires something a little bit different. And I think we've done a great job over the years of adapting to our members' needs. And the period of COVID is no different. I was going back through we used to do a number of events up in your area pre-COVID, whether it was Studio 7, New Jersey Autobahn, Bernard's Inn. There's several other locations where we've held events, and I hope we can get back to that. But the chamber is a lot more than just events and programs. We put on about 130 to 150 programs per year, whether that's training, if you're an HR manager or CEO, sales training, or just straight networking events, business card exchanges, those types of events. That's all run through our chamber side of the house. The other side of the house is our foundation, where we received 2 large contracts. One is with the County of Somerset, and one is with the state of New Jersey to be a DMO, which is short for a destination marketing organization. So our job is to promote your town outside of New Jersey to travelers. Now, that has changed a lot in the last few years. 70% of business travel in 70% of travel in Somerset County pre-COVID was attributed to business, people coming in for corporate meetings, conferences, those types of things. Obviously, business travel has shut down during the pandemic, and quite honestly, it's probably going to be one of the last things to return. We're looking, our experts that we tie into with the state think that 2023, maybe 2024 is when the business travel in New Jersey would see a full recovery. So we've pivoted to recreational travel, couples, families, people coming out of Philly, New York City, Boston. Our tourism director was down in Austin a month ago for a National Bus Association conference. And the number one ask we received when talking to those associations was birding. And as you can imagine, the New Jersey Audubon Society was one of those top items that we talked about at a national busing conference in Austin. So we have really had a fine tune and target an audience, whether it's equestrian, gardening, birding. Those little pieces will help make up for the loss in revenue that the county has experienced when it comes to business travel. So these are the types of things that we're working on the tourism side. And I think I see Olivia is on the call tonight. We're going to be talking with her group at downtown Bernardsville about ways that we can work together to make sure that they're getting the word out about what they're doing. And I think tourism plays a big part in that. The last thing I want to mention, and I'm happy to answer questions or talk about any specific areas, is business attraction and retention is a huge component of what the business partnership is going to be working on the next few years. If there's one thing that gives me sleepless nights, it's thinking about all the major corporations in Somerset County and their decision making when it comes to how much square footage they need going forward, how many employees are they bringing back to the office, what's the future of these large office parks, corporate facilities going forward. And we need to be ahead of that in Somerset County. We can't wait for companies to make the decision. We got to help them. So we actually launched a website and a subsequent marketing campaign on March 1st called Why Somerset. I'll put the website in the chat. It's whysomersetnj.org. And it's geared towards letting a business know why they should keep their business in Somerset County or why they should move their business to Somerset County. There's another component to it too, is we help businesses onboard their employees. So for example, if Nestle is moving people into Somerset County from Minnesota, where they moved about 50 people 2 years ago, we're going to be working with them to help make sure that when they decide where to move their family to, that they know about the unbelievable public school system in Bernardsville. They know about daycare, amenities, all those types of things that you would need when you're thinking about uprooting your family across the country or across the world. Somerset County really hasn't had that go-to website. So we see this being a really key player for what we do going forward. So there's a number of other things I could get into. We're also working with the county on we launched a film commission on February 1st. So I'll put that website in the chat. It's filmsomersetnj.org. But part of Bernardsville falls within 30 miles of Columbus Circle in New York City. And there's huge tax benefits to the filming industry for being within 30 miles of Columbus Circle. So we've been meeting with elected officials in Warren, Watchung, all those towns in the northern and northeastern part of the county that fall within that 30-mile radius, because I think there's a real opportunity for you to attract a lot of industry into Bernardsville because of the amount of effort the state is putting into filming. So again, I could go on and on, but I'm happy to either answer any questions or talk about what you're seeing for the business community in your town.
Thank you, Chris. I did go to the Why Somerset website when you had mentioned it earlier when we met, and it's very impressive. I think it really does a good job of presenting who the county is and, all the great things we have. Unfortunately, we don't have a chat on this meeting. So, okay.
Follow-up email.
Yeah, we could do it. Just send a follow-up email. We can put it on our website or put it out on our social media. Anybody have any questions for Chris?
Yeah, I do. Hi, Chris. It's Jay Ambling. A couple questions. In terms of the benefits of being a member to your organization, do our local businesses or the town itself get any services or support through membership? Is there a difference between a municipality that's a member or a non-member in terms of the services and support you offer? And then secondary to that, do you also have memberships for businesses as well as municipalities? Is that how you? Good.
Yeah, there's a flat rate for our municipalities in Somerset County. I could say that there's 19 of the 21 municipalities in Somerset County are a member of the business partnership. I wouldn't directly say that there's additional benefits for the businesses in Bernardsville because of your membership. I would never, if Bernardsville wasn't a member, I would never not refer someone to a business in town, but because of that. I would say there's a couple things. So like we're bringing back the Meet the Mayors series. If anyone was familiar, in 2015 and 2016, we did a 4-part series where essentially we took the county and split it up into 4 quadrants and had 5 to 6 mayors at each event talk about what they're doing, and we had about 200 businesses at each one. That is something that I would see like as a benefit of membership, and then the opportunity to attend events for anyone who works for Bernardsville. I'd say those are the two main benefits. But like I said, I wouldn't punish another member of the partnership if their town wasn't a member, and we don't do that to the 2 towns who aren't a member of the business partnership.
Got it. And then do you also charge businesses to join the membership or to join your organization as well as the towns?
Yes, yeah. So we have about 800 members, and they start a nonprofit or micro businesses pays about $250 to $400 a year, depending on the business, and then the corporations, the major companies in Somerset County pay about $2,000 to $4,000 a year in membership.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, I think, and you also don't, Chris, I know some of because I shared a lot of the programs you had during COVID that were no fee. So a lot of our businesses could just log on and take one of the marketing classes or sit in on a webinar.
Yes.
They directly aren't a member, but they still could participate.
Yeah, we were very lucky during the pandemic that most of our membership stuck with us. We weren't at a point where we had to put up a paywall for our businesses. I could tell you that my staff, we're a staff of 7 at the business partnership. Those first 3 months of lockdown 2 years ago, we were essentially a crisis hotline for all sorts of businesses. And it just wasn't the small ones. I mean, we talked to a lot of cafes in town and restaurants that were looking for answers. But I could tell you, we talked to a lot of larger companies that, you know, had hundreds of employees coming in, and they needed to know the changing laws and rules on a daily basis. So we really became just a library of knowledge essentially for the business community at that time. And yeah, we had decided not to, for those months of lockdown, none of our events were tied to membership.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any other council people have questions? Okay. Thank you, Chris. It's been a pleasure to have you, and hopefully there'll be more events that we can go to in person. And we'd love to host a mixer here in town if we can in the near future. So
Absolutely. And I'll be reaching out about the Meet the Mayors. That'll be coming back this summer and going through early 23. So I look forward to hopefully seeing all of you at those programs coming up.
all right. Thank you,
All
Chris.
right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
We now have an open session, so if anyone from the public would like to speak, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anthony will hold up the timer and ask that you just give your name and address before you speak. Olivia, looked like your hand went up first.
Hi, Chris, I hope you didn't go too far. I just wanted to make sure that everyone here and for the record knows your social media handles. If you wouldn't mind just sharing those so that everybody knows where to find all of your information, I think that's going to be important so that we know where Somerset County information is going to be. So I just want to make sure you share your social media handles too with everybody here.
Sure. I'll get that out. We have 4 different divisions, so I'll get all 4 out to everybody.
Good reminder. Was that it, Olivia? Oh, okay, thanks. Jeff, I think you were next. You are on mute.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be brief. I'm just making a presentation on behalf of the Environmental Commission. It's my understanding, if I remember correctly from my time on the council, that when we want to apply for a grant, we need to get the approval of the council. Is that correct? Or at least inform them. So there is an ANJEC, New Jersey Environmental Commission, Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions grant opportunity. It's relatively modest, $1,500. The deadline is May 2nd. Greg DeGrandpre and I were working on a concept for signage. We've been working with Bob Markowick to come up with a concept and apply for the grant that would provide for a sign before Old Army, to identify where the trail at Old Army Road is at the, the Old Army Trail at the Evancow property. And then at the other side of the trail, where it meets the Audubon at Hardscrabble Road, have another sign just to inform people that from that point forward, there are no more dogs allowed. So we just want to inform the council and get the blessing to go ahead and do that.
I believe there's a form that Leslie Robeson has when you apply.
I know there is, yes.
Yeah. So I think you just have to fill that out, and council, anybody, we don't need to do a resolution or anything, do we, Jack? No.
No, I think as long as you have a consensus, you're okay. Sorry, couldn't find my unmute button.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Diane, you okay? Christy?
I'm fine.
We're good. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. That'd be great. Thank you.
It's just an unfortunate fact that nobody knows how to find that trail with the bamboo stand that's there at the end of the soccer field. So this would identify that resource and be compliant with our master plan.
Yeah, I believe we have an Eagle project coming up to cut down some of the bamboo, which would be interesting.
That is a project.
I know. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Johanna?
Thank you.
Good evening, Johanna Wissinger, Environmental Commission. I just wanted to report to you some, I consider good news that progress has started on the green infrastructure implementation assessment for our roadways that Chris Objecta and Holly, his assistant, and Doug Walker and John McDowell and the assistant Kathy Redling have started looking at it. So I'm really hopeful that things will get going. I really think this was a worthwhile assessment to do. We're just going to continue to have more impervious. Our roads really are conduits for runoff, and addressing them as well as we possibly can really seems to be a way of handling it. We have a lot of roads that are have terrain, they have slope, and they're banked because they're old roads, and so they're just smooth, wonderful conduits for water. So I'm glad that this is going to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Johanna. Anyone else wish to be heard? I'm looking to see if I see any hands up. Anthony, do you see any?
No, I don't see anyone else. No.
Oh, wait. Tom, you have your hand up.
Yes, Dr. Hanlon, I just wanted to let you know that this past Friday, we went out with our new recreation engineer, and we were looking at the 4 projects that council identified. One of them was to connect the path that gets built around the polo grounds into that trailhead. And there's a number of options where we might make an improved entrance. So let's touch base before we decide where that sign goes.
For sure. Actually, we don't have to give details about the exact location of the sign, nor exactly what it looks like for the grant application. So our thought in working with Bob Markowick was just, we'll get the money and then we'll figure out exactly what to do with it, where the sign would be.
Great.
Okay. Anyone else? Last chance. Nobody? Okay. Moving on. Gina, you're still with us. Would you move introduction of that ordinance?
Yes, I move that ordinance 2022-1911 appropriating the sum of $60,000 for the Bernardsville Public Library Building public restroom renovations be introduced by title, passed on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be scheduled for a meeting beginning 7 p.m. Monday, March 28th.
I'll second.
I'll second.
All right. Just a discussion on this is a donation. So somebody has donated to have this project done, which is very generous, and we are very grateful. So since it's an introduction, we just need an all in favor.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, so that'll be on the next agenda. Moving on to resolutions, we have 2259 to 2270. Are there any you'd like to discuss separately? Johanna, we do have that resolution that you asked us to do on there. And we're okay. Jack, the water company easement, that's all resolved?
That's all resolved. RPM is happy with it, and we're ready to proceed.
Did they say when they were going to do that? Do we have a?
No, I think soon. Their promise is they would have it done before RPM needs to break ground.
Great. Okay. And we are also awarding the contract for 3 pickleball courts, which we're excited to get done. They will be hopefully done before the pool opens, since we are awarding the bids now. And we did get a grant from the county from their open space committee. So we are very grateful for that as well. It was $250,000. Yeah. Which will cover a big portion of the expense. So, okay. Would anyone like to move those resolutions?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
What?
Do you want me to read them?
Just the
I move
number.
to adopt resolutions 22-59 to 22-70.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ambelang,
Yes.
Ms. Greenfield,
Yes.
Ms. McCready,
Yes.
Mr. McQueen,
Yes.
Ms. Zamara.
Yes.
All right, we had a memo. Tom, would you like to go
Yes,
over the
Mayor.
summer hours?
Yeah, thank you. For the past few years, council has authorized a summer hours schedule, which essentially breaks the administrative team down into two teams. And each team works, if they elect to, if employees elect to, they can work a modified schedule, modified lunch hours, so that over a 2-week period, they accumulate 8 hours. And so then every 2 weeks, they have the option to be off on that Friday. Again, if they elect to participate. So I think it's something that the employees value greatly. I have not received any complaints from our customers. All the offices are properly covered. So if council is so inclined, I do recommend we do this again.
Sounds great.
Yeah. I think the way you balance it, it works. There's always somebody in every department. So I think that works out really well. Anybody, we okay with that? Yes?
And
Yeah,
I'll say
I'm
with-
fine with it. I'm fine with it.
I'll just add, with the cost of fuel, it's particularly appreciated.
Yeah, that's true.
Win-win.
Yeah. Moving on to the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee, Dan Lincoln has resigned as chair. He has had that position for a very long time, done a wonderful job, but he's got a full plate. So Jerry Jo Cranmer has stepped up to volunteer to be the new chair, and that is a council appointment. I don't think, so if everyone's okay with that, Diane, would you like to move that?
I move to appoint Jerry Jo Kramer as HPAC's chair.
You have a second?
And I'll second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions. We're good. Okay. It's my appointment to put Michael Gunderson on HPAC as a member. If you recall, he interviewed for the Board of Adjustment, and since we could only pick 3 of the 5, we offered other positions, and he accepted HPAC, which would be great because they are still short a few members. So how many? I think 3 you were short. Now
Yeah, this is great. This is really good.
so now
Thanks.
you've got 2 new people, so that's great. Jack, I'm going to turn remote meetings over to you.
Yes, okay, thanks. I asked Anthony to put this on because there was a discussion at the last meeting that expanding the circumstances in which members can attend live meetings remotely. I don't know that it may become moot when it was decided that we would go back to live meetings in April, but I just asked Anthony to put it on there because it was in my notes and I wasn't sure where we left it.
Yeah, I believe what we were trying to do was a hybrid so that at least the public had the choice of being live or being remote. And I think Tom can add to that because I know he's been working with our IT person, with Chris D'Amato, to figure that out.
Yes, it won't be difficult. We purchased a device and we've been testing it called an OWL. Some of you might be familiar with it, but it's like this tall and it has multiple cameras, and really the camera goes to whoever is speaking and can just hone in on them while also on a separate screen capturing the room. On top of that, we are going to purchase a monitor, projector type monitor for the council room so that whatever the OWL is projecting can be fed into a Zoom meeting. But it looks like the one difference is we may have to shift from Zoom to Google Meet in order to make this most effective. But stay tuned, but I think we'll be able to at least get started in April with ongoing improvements as we go forward.
And just, Jack, a question about council people attending. Is there a limit to how many can be on the Google Meet versus in person?
Well, the way we have it now is that council members can attend either by telephone or Zoom, whatever. If there's a special meeting called on less than 10 days notice, or if the presence of additional council members is needed to make a quorum. So that's the current rule. Now, there's no reason that somebody couldn't, participate via Zoom. They just wouldn't be able to vote in other circumstances, if they were just out of town or whatever. So as I say, I just asked Anthony to make sure, to put it on the agenda to make sure the discussion was finished.
Okay, thank you. Oh, my
And if the
update.
council wanted to change that, Jack, where you could have a hybrid for members that could vote, would that be, how would that be done?
That would be done by ordinance. The current system is set up by ordinance. Now, there's also some confusion because the Open Public Meetings Act has always defined meeting as something happening in person or by means communication technology. So it was generally the view of most municipal attorneys and other people that you could have remote meetings. But then when COVID hit, DCA came out with rules which only applied during a period of emergency. So I participated in discussion last week of the Institute of Local Government Attorneys, and the consensus was that we all thought we could do it before this rule came out, but now there's some confusion because of the rule. So everyone's looking for clarification. But in any event, we would have to do it by ordinance.
So the question is whether or not this is would still be in an emergency, and whether we would be able to.
Correct. And if there is clarification, even if there's not, I think the council could expand the conditions under which individual council members could attend remotely if you wish to look into that.
Yeah, Jack, it's something that I'd be interested in seeing personally.
Okay.
I have a question though. If some people have to be in person and then some people could be remote, then what's the incentive to be in person? Why would you want to be in person? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I think it would be very hard to conduct business with 3 people on the screen and 3 people on the dais. I don't know. I just feel like, it could be used in emergency situations, but not as a regular kind of.
Yeah, I think that would be the case. That would be the case, Mary Jane. I think we'd have it for emergency situations, but the expectations is if you could be there, you should be there.
Yeah.
Now, all of our meetings are now going to be in person? We're not going to split it?
That we're going to allow the public to be remote, but we will be in person come April.
Okay.
If we get all this set up. So it may not be the first meeting in April, it might be the second, but we have to wait for Chris to kind of make sure it's all working properly.
Okay.
And maybe one clarification, sorry, Jack.
Sure.
When you say emergency, are we talking, when we say emergency, meaning I have an emergency and I want to take the meeting from home, or meaning a state of emergency for the government?
Yeah, it's the latter.
Okay,
it's the governor's declaration of a state of emergency for COVID. That the DCA rule was adopted in response to that executive order. So that's what we're talking about.
Got it. Thank you.
If we do get more guidance, I'll circulate it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of municipalities are having the same questions. So
yes, there were probably 75 or 100 attorneys participating in the discussion. So there's a great deal of confusion out there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
My update, I did attend Community in Crisis had a coffee and conversation session on March 1st. I believe Leah was there as well. It was a really good meeting of community leaders. We had a wellness campaign committee, and I am happy to report that this was the first year we applied for towards being a healthy town, and we did achieve bronze status, which means we're an up and coming healthy town. Next year, hopefully it's a point system. Next year, we're hoping to get silver, which is a healthy town to watch. And then gold is a healthy town. So we're working on those awards. We will get a big banner to hang for our bronze award. So we'll have to find a place in Borough Hall to put that up. We had our first meeting of the Memorial Day Parade Committee. Yes, we are having a parade this year. Everyone is really excited. So I think it'll be a hopefully good weather and a good turnout. Tom, Joe, DeMarco, and I met for just getting updates on redevelopment projects, which we will share in executive session. I attended the Little Shop of Horrors, the musical at the high school. It was really amazingly well done. I mean, they do such a good job there. If you ever have a chance to go to any of their shows, the talent for such a small town is incredible. I did meet with Jerry Rizzo, who does the visitbernardsville.com site, and he has offered to help us with our branding and any other kind of promotional things we need to do. And to help us, you know, also working with downtown Bernardsville. So we will continue that conversation. There was a governor's call where the mayor's got a briefing on the governor's budget, which I think I then shared with you the written notes. Jake Perry, I spoke with him from the Bernardsville News. He's doing an article about how the pandemic affected our businesses. I believe he also spoke to Olivia, and I know he spoke to Harvey Goldberg, and he's going to do an article about how COVID affected the businesses in our area. I attended downtown Bernardsville's networking session at Osteria Marini. Amazingly well attended. I think people just wanted so badly to get to talk to each other. We had a lot of business people come out. Thank you, Olivia and downtown Bernardsville, for putting that together. I think it was a big success. I also attended the Somerset County Governing Officials Association meeting. The speaker at the dinner was Pablo Orozco, who is now the new Shared Services Coordinator for the county. So we are working with him on ways that we can get together with other towns and share services. It's the first time we've had an actual coordinator for the county. I attended the Somerset County Complete County Committee meeting, and they reviewed all the census data and how to access their website. So if we need any of that information, we can download it. The county commissioners call reported, of course, that COVID cases are dropping. They're going to be offering some training programs for certificate programs or for CDL licenses, trying to get people back to work. They are now mask optional at the county buildings. They did talk about the moratorium on utility payments is ending tomorrow. So if there's any residents, people you know, who are behind on their payments, I believe there are 51 households in Bernardsville that are more than 90 days behind. So if you know any of those people, please tell them to contact their utility companies, because both PSE&G and JCP&L are offering deferred payment plans, but you need to contact them in order to get that in place. Tom and I attended a meeting of the Shared Municipal Court. We went over last year's numbers and the budget for next year, which I think was really helpful, because then I got a good understanding of how they figure out who pays how much. And we got to meet the judge and hear her point of view. And they have been actually very busy at the court, even though the judge has to be there in person, but the court is still remote. I attended downtown Bernardsville board meeting. They've got a lot of good activities coming up. Check their website. We had a meeting with downtown Bernardsville and Leah Horowitz from Recreation to talk about joint projects we can do together. And I am going to be creating a mayor's ad hoc committee to work on community branding. So that will, Olivia will facilitate it, and will appoint a few people to kind of work out that overall branding for the borough. And Tom and I met with Chris Vitiello, who is the brother of Michael Vitiello, and his partner, who have purchased 106 Minebrook Road, and they are looking at a way to rehab that property, and they will be taking that to the planning board, but they just wanted to run it by us and see how it fit into the community. And really, a couple of nice young men. I think they'll do a great job there. So that is my report. Questions? Anybody? Still awake? Administrators update.
Just thank you, Mayor. Just a few quick things. The Finance Committee has wrapped up its review of the preliminary budget and has charged me with meeting with each of the council members to walk them through where we are now. It's shaped up nicely, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when we get through it. A couple other things. The pool registration opened today and is going well. Summer camp registration opens March 21st. And then, as I mentioned, we had a good meeting with Suburban Engineering to start looking at the pavilion, lighting projects, trail projects, connectors, and we look forward to having estimates and concepts ready to go in early in May for council to start looking at those. And I just want to thank and recognize the work that Doug Walker and Bob Markowick did on the grant for the pickleball courts. Really, the timing of this is important. Like you said, Mayor, we want to get it done before the pool season starts. We actually want to make it a complement to the pool, where one kind of encourages the other a little bit. So I think that's going to be a great project. And then the last point is DPW handled their 12th snowstorm of the season. I know none of these accumulate very much, but it gets icy and dangerous, and they've done a great job keeping our roads safe.
Yeah, thank you. Correspondence, we only had a letter from Comcast in your packet, just acknowledging that they received our contract, and now they pass it on to where does it go next? I forget. But anyway, and I shared an email with everyone that I just got a little earlier today. Someone being very grateful for the pickleball courts. I didn't realize that there are leagues, and really, it's the fastest growing sport, that and disc golf. Who knew? So they may be booked before we get them in. Anyway, do we have any unfinished business? Anybody? Any new business? And actually, Christine and Gina are working on the smart streets and the walking audits. So we were going to add a few more neighborhoods, because RideWise, they don't have a limit on how many of the audits you can do. And they do these great maps. Wasn't that map impressive that they did of Raritan? So you can see all the areas. So what we wanted to do was add in a couple of the neighborhoods where people have asked for sidewalks, to do the walking audit and see if there is something we can do in the meantime, since we don't have the budget right now to do all those sidewalks. But if there's some simple ways we can improve the road, that would help us do that. So thank you, Gina and Christine, for working on that.
I just wanted to share something from, there's a telephone town hall on the 16th from 6 to 7 that Congressman Malinowski is hosting. So if anyone wants info on that, they can email me, but it's a telephone town hall on the crisis in Ukraine, if anybody's interested in that.
Speaking of Congressman Malinowski, he did get our request for the walking path from Boylan Terrace down to the train station. It did make it through on the appropriations bill, so we will be getting federal funds. I believe it was $1 million to do that path, so we're very excited to be able to get that done. I don't think we've ever gotten federal money like that before, so it's really exciting that we're going to be able to do that. You know, I think we started with this idea about 3 years ago. So I think the neighborhood will be excited to see it actually come true. And it'll really help with downtown. So yeah, I think that's it. Nobody have anything else? If not, do I have a motion for executive? Oh, and I think we'll be coming out. Will we be coming out, Jack?
No, I think we can act in closed session. It's just going to be a preliminary step, so.
Okay, so we don't have to take any action.
Right.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Go into closed session.
Do I have a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so thank you for those of you that are here. We appreciate you being here, and come back next time. We'll be introducing the budget at the next meeting, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. So,